resumed at 9:20. Let's please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Donovan, please call the roll for attendance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mary Adams.
Present.
Anthony Cronaccio.
Here.
John DeGrace.
Present.
Arnold Drucker.
Here.
Jorge Guardian.
Present.
Wanda Jackson.
Here.
Edward Powers.
Present.
Kathy Weiss.
Present.
Jocelyn Molina is not here, and I am here. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, we had some votes for officers of the Board of Trustees. The position of chairman, I've been elected with a 10-0 vote. Vice chair will be Kathy Weiss with a 6-4 vote. And for secretary, John Donnelly with a 10-0 vote.
This is where you're supposed to clap.
Condolences can be offered at any time. We're going to have approval of the minutes. Approval of the August 22nd, 2013 minutes are presented for approval.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Yes, I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
Yes.
Yes, 2.
One, was that 1 or 2? 2. So the vote is 7-0 with 2 abstentions. The motion for the September 9th, 2013 minutes will be tabled until the following meeting. We're going to go to reports of the Standing Committee. Finance and Capital Committee, Trustee Donnelly. The first one will be the expenditures of $100,000, introduced by Mr. Powers.
Yes, Chairman. Resolved that requisition number 56387 in the amount of $160,000 as requested by the VP for facilities management for support for graduation exercises, venue rental, diplomas, etc. Source funding, student fee.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Wanda?
Resolved that requisition 60858 in the amount of $500,000 as requested by the Vice President for Facilities Management Mail Services for college-wide mail services to cover postage expenses and the rental of mailing equipment. The funding source is the operating budget.
Do I have a motion to consider this item?
I make a motion.
Second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstention? Motion carries.
Resolved that requisition 62314 in the amount of $2,350,000 as requested by the Vice President for Facilities Management for contract cleaning of NCC facilities due to lack of sufficient in-house custodial staff. Janitorial maintenance contract was awarded on the basis of a competitive sealed bid, with building maintenance services being qualified as the lowest bidder. Advantage to the college, we are not required to maintain additional vehicles, supplies, and materials to meet the housekeeping requirements, which proves to be a savings for Nassau Community College. Funding source, the operating budget.
Do I have a motion to consider this item?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Ms. Jackson?
Resolved that requisition 62264 in the amount of $365,382 was requested by the CIO for SUNY ITEC Information Technology Exchange Center services to provide hardware and database support services which operate and maintain Banner for NCC use. This is an outsourced operation. The funding source is the operating budget.
Again, do I have a motion to consider this item?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Resolved that requisition 62315 in the amount of $855,350 as requested by the Vice President for Facilities Management for college-wide groundskeeping and snow removal services due to lack of sufficient in-house staff to perform these essential tasks. The maintenance contract was awarded on the basis of a competitive sealed bid, with the Brickman Group being qualified as the lowest bidder. Funding source operating budget.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion to consider this item?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All opposed? All for, all in favor?
You look at me and you say, all opposed.
Freudian slip. All for?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Any abstentions? Motion carried.
Resolved that requisition 60712 in the amount of $250,000 as requested by the Executive Vice President, Marketing and Communications Department to assist the College and Office of Marketing and Communications in the development and production of marketing and advertising initiatives and campaigns utilizing print, broadcast, and digital media in an effort to recruit students and maintain brand awareness. Funding source operating budget.
Do I have a motion to consider this item?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Who seconded that?
Okay. Ms. Kathy Weiss. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Resolved that requisition 60857 in the amount of $250,000 as requested by the Vice President for Facilities Management for marshaling and Sterling college-wide insurance policies. Source the operating budget.
Do I have a motion to consider this item?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Before we get into the next motion, I just wanted to point out that at our open session for finance this afternoon, Carol Friedman gave a very, very interesting, detailed, pictorial presentation of all of the improvements that have taken place and are taking place at the college. And I would suggest anybody that's interested to reach out to Carol to see where a lot of the money is going and what the improvements are for the college.
I'm also going to intercede for 1 second. The new trustee on the board is Ms. Wanda Jackson. We'd like to offer our welcome. Put her right to the test and made her read all the resolutions. You pass.
Thank you.
Okay, be it resolved that the Nassau Community College Board of Trustees accepts the donation with a total value of $32,733 from the Faculty Student Association.
Do I have a motion to consider this item?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Drucker?
Yes, the next item is the Nassau Community College Presidential Search. Be it resolved that the temporary committee on presidential search established by the resolution of this board dated December 18, 2012, which resolution is hereby amended to terminate in all respects effective on the date of adoption of this resolution, is hereby formally discharged of any further duties and responsibilities with the heartfelt thanks of the Board of Trustees for its diligent work on behalf of the college. And be it further resolved that the Presidential Search Committee, having completed its tasks established by the December 18, 2012 resolution of this board, which resolution is hereby amended to terminate in all respects effective on the date of adoption of this resolution, is hereby formally discharged and is extended the heartfelt thanks of the Board of Trustees for its diligent work on behalf of the college.
Do I have a motion to consider this item?
I'll move the motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Against?
Any abstentions?
I abstain.
Motion carries. Report of the acting president.
Good evening and welcome back to another academic year. I too would like to join the board in welcoming Wanda Jackson to the board, and we look forward to working with you. I'm pleased to announce that we do have the adoption of a budget for 2013-2014. We've started to work on a new student center, services center, which is, for most of you, where the registration bursar used to be located, that area has been completely gutted. And the area extending into the parking lot will be integrated with that and will become the new facility for a bursar, registrar, admissions, advisement, financial aid, financial student services, student health, and veteran affairs, and the ID card issuing center. We are looking forward to the completion of that project, and we're well on our way. I'm also pleased to announce that this year we were able to hold the faculty lines to the same level as we had them last year. I'd like to extend a special thanks to the Academic Senate Executive Committee and the Campus-Wide Curriculum Committee, Ad Hoc Subcommittee on the Seamless Transfer under the leadership of Stu Kaplan for their development. It has not been an easy task and it's not done, but it is for the development of an NCC response to the Seamless Transfer Initiative from SUNY that focused on capping degree requirements at 64 credits. I would like to say that enrollment for this fall semester, based on the latest available data, is coming in at the projected budget level. While our numbers have fallen a bit, it has fallen within a range that we had budgeted for, so we're not going to have a negative impact on our budget as a result of these fluctuations. I would like to extend the congratulations to Dr. Carmel Bellafor and Ed Capel on the receipt of a $1 million grant for the Nursing Workforce Diversity Program. This grant was given by the Health Resources and Service Administration of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. I'm also pleased to announce the initiation of an e-procurement system called My Market. It is it's the equivalent of shopping online, but that will be a much more efficient way for you to take care of the daily types of needs that you would need in your departments in your respective areas by going through this new e-procurement process. It is up and running and we're getting a very positive response to that. Just a point of information, for those who will be traveling this year, we have a new travel policy that increases the level of reimbursement from $30 a day to $77 a day. I'm pleased to announce the implementation of the Financial Aid Disbursement Service project known as Hire One, which is scheduled to go into full implementation sometime in October, which is a new disbursement system that will allow the service to provide our students their reimbursement checks by depositing them directly into their accounts, giving them ATM cards. It will be a much more efficient process. It will be done in a shorter amount of time, and it will be a lot less labor intensive on part of our staff as a result of the initiation of this effort. We are in a process of facilitating or completing a facilities master's plan, which will be focusing on the physical development of the campus. I would like everyone to know that when we get to a certain point in that process, the plan will be shared with the campus. It will be shared with the Board of Trustees before any finalization of that plan will be made. I'm also pleased to announce that in the 2013-2016 County Capital Plan, there was an authorization for construction funding for the Performing Arts Building. While this is still at the beginning phases, it's moving in the right direction, and I'm really pleased to announce that. Last but, well, it isn't last, from an athletic perspective, our teams are doing reasonably well. Our football team just defeated Monroe College last week, 34-7. They're now 3-0. Their performance will probably change their standing in the polls, and I think the last report we were ranked number 13th in the nation. The men's soccer got back on the winning track with 3 wins this past week. Now our women's soccer team continues to struggle with 2 losses, but I think if we can provide them with a little more support in their games, it will give them the motivation to win the next competition that they will have. So let's come out and support our teams. Last but certainly not least is the NCC Discovery Center. I am pleased to say that it is up and running, that between July and September, we had 4,198 visitors to come to that site. For example, the math department received in excess of 800 hits. It's giving us some critical information in terms of what students are interested in, what they're asking questions about, populations that are making inquiries about our program at NCC, and is helping us to refine our recruitment efforts both through the NCC Discovery Center and through our traditional recruiting modalities. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Before we go to the speakers list, I wanted to, yes?
Are you going to talk about that resolution?
Yes. Before I go to the speakers list.
Very good.
Okay. Before I go to the speakers list, we have an announcement from the board that the Board of Trustees will establish a new presidential search committee as soon as possible, and we will be reaching out to the college community to constitute said committee. On another note, again, before we get to the speakers list, we as a college community had a bit of a falling out with some of our membership last week. We will be going back to the tables to discuss in good faith going forward. I want to stress a couple of things. Number one, the Board of Trustees wants to thank the academic faculty, the NCCFT, the administration for the wonderful spirit of cooperation with the one goal in mind to try to make that transition as easy for our students as possible. So I'd like to say thank you, because at the end of the day, I keep stressing that we are a family community. We are one forward, one vision going forward. And as in all families, there are always arguments and discrepancies, but I think that the spirit of cooperation is one that will abide. We have new vigor and injection of new blood into the board. Tonight, I can report to you that at one point we actually had 10 members of the board, which is the first time in recorded history that we've had 10 members. I think that's worth a round of applause, please. We can forgive our student member who was there to listen to all the discussions that we had and was excused because she had to go and study. Because first and foremost, she is a student. I find a new spirit that is pervasive among the board. I found a spirit of cooperation with the faculty. We will reach out to our brothers from the AFA and try to set things right. We want this to move forward. There are many great things ahead of us for NCC as a community. And in that spirit, that is how I would like us to move forward. So, I would like to go to the speakers list. Phyllis Curlin, you're the first speaker. Mr. Conley, would you?
I'm Phyllis Curland. I work in the student activities area of the college, and in the spirit that Dr. Garden just brought up to us, I wanted to comment very publicly in front of our colleagues and the faculty, the administration, and all of you about a very wonderful spirit of cooperation that prevailed here on campus in the last week of August. It was in fact extraordinary. We ran freshman orientation, and I want to tell you that 73 faculty members, full-time and part-time, and administrators gave of their time voluntarily to speak to the new freshmen in small groups and to orient them towards how to be successful in the classroom. When we started to run this program, we were very nervous because we frankly didn't think we would get enough faculty and administrators to volunteer. And it was just a wonderful thing that so many people came out during their vacations to volunteer. The math department TAs came in during their vacation to show off the wonderful math labs that we have for the students. It was just really a wonderful experience, and it was done with the help of Acting President Saunders and with Acting Executive Vice President Maria Canzati. And we want to thank all of them. It was really a wonderful model that I hope we can use again going forward. And because there are freshmen on the board, we thought we wanted to give you what we gave to the freshmen at orientation and welcome you here to our college.
Seniors get some too.
Thank you. Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
My name is Ed Boyden. I'm chair of the Academic Senate. I would like to join Dr. Garden, Dr. Saunders, and the trustees on behalf of the academics in Senate in welcoming Ms. Jackson to the Board of Trustees. We realize that you're a volunteer, you're not compensated for your service, so we appreciate the time and effort that you are bringing and the experience and dedication you are bringing to the college. So thank you and welcome. Other thing is, as you've made some decisions about the presidential search tonight, I want to urge you as strongly as I can to bring the search to a successful conclusion as quickly as possible, okay? Because the administrative uncertainty that we've had here for a while is a problem in all kinds of ways. The college is facing many challenges of all different kinds, financial ones, academic ones, many kinds of challenges. We need stability and certainty and clarity in our leadership, right? I would also like to urge you, again, in the strongest possible terms, I understand you are appointing a new search committee. I would like to urge you, in the strongest possible terms, to consider the experience of the members of the former search committee and make sure that their views, because they've had experience in this, are heard in this process. Thank you.
Kimberly Reiser?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd also like to welcome you to our college community, Trustee Jackson. The faculty look really forward to working with you. I did want to ask a question or make a comment about the last board meeting, when there was quite a bit of confusion about how the presidential search process would proceed or would not proceed. And looking at the minutes, I see that Dr. Gordon, you indicated that the board required additional legal guidance as to what happens next in the process in the absence of 6 votes in favor of a specific candidate. So I was wondering if you could share with us what that legal guidance was. What I am a little perplexed about is that we finally have 10 board members here tonight. And I just don't understand why the candidates were not brought back to be interviewed when we had a full constitution of the board. Very typically, I mean, I can't think of any other instance around SUNY when candidates don't come back for another interview. So I think the faculty would really like to know why it is and what was the specific legal advice. Usually at board meetings, legal advice is given at the time that the trustees asked for it. It didn't happen at the last meeting. So could you share that with us, please?
Sure. At the last meeting, the Presidential Search Committee's role was to vet candidates and to bring them to the board. 2 candidates were produced that were vetted by the Board of Trustees. Neither candidate received votes to be able to be put forward. At that point, they were not advanced. When we went to legal, it's not 6 against or 6-4. You have to have 6 votes to go forward. Neither of them accomplished that. What we did at this new board, at the board meeting tonight, we put forth a resolution. The Presidential Search Committee did its job. It produced candidates that came to the board. The action of the board was not to accept the candidate. The search committee ended its role. It did a fabulous job, and we thank them. And by a vote of the board tonight, that Presidential Search Committee was dissolved.
I think we're all aware of that. The point that I was trying to make is that you have a full constituency tonight of trustees, 10. And I truly do not understand why the candidates were not brought back. There were so many members that weren't here. So in essence, you had to have everyone support one of the candidates. That's the point I wanted to make. I wanted clarification about legal guidance. It's unclear to me about that guidance. Thank you.
You're welcome. Elizabeth Hadley.
I'll pass, thank you.
Frank Crescenda.
Frank Percent, the Vice President of the NCCFT. Ms. Jackson, welcome to the Madhouse. And I saw like the first action was to spend a lot of money. I hope it does. What I want to say, but based on those resolutions and what you had said, I was there at the presentation before with the Capital Committee, and I do want to say something positive, okay, that I think that Joe Muscarella and his group of people have made a real difference on this campus. I mean, that's the only administrator I'm going to thank tonight. So, but what I want to say, I am absolutely stunned at this board's vote with respect to the presidential search. You have heard the faculty on this campus for months, board meeting after board meeting, expressing our concerns, right, that the process move forward, okay? And you just stopped it dead in its tracks. And you could sit here and talk about the spirit of camaraderie, family, and thanking the search committee for all their hard work. But in the end, you kind of said, sorry, okay? It just doesn't sit right with us, okay? So it's really insulting, okay? Because this isn't a family. All right, we have been talking to you in a unified voice about how we feel about this presidential search. All right, and now that you got your 10 members, you couldn't move this thing forward. And it really concerns us. And just so you know, we're not going away either. Okay, thank you.
Michelle Cohen?
I'm going to pass.
Okay, the next Finance and Capital meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 17th, 2013, at 5 p.m., followed by the full board. The board will open the public session at 6:30 p.m. and resume public session at approximately 8 p.m. I request a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All for? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Carried. Meeting over. Adjourned. Motion is 8:41.